Hello, folks. It's another Friday. Welcome. I hear it's the International Men's Day. I greet you. And I greet you too.
Thank you very much.
It's just as well that they give us one day in the calendar.
The table of gentlemen.
Yeah. Even the people who made us up were men.
Men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good. Good. Welcome. All right. We want to thank you for joining us on the biggest platform for journalists in the country. We call it Journalist Hangout. I'm Citizen Jones. Today on the program, President Buhari approves 18.2 billion naira for each state as budget support facility. ASU, that's the Association of Academic Staff Union of Universities, and federal government reach truce over fresh strike after Speaker Biamila intervened. A 3-day strike by railway workers, we understand, have left passengers stranded. And later on, Sports Minister says NFF, that's the Nigerian Football Federation, would decide Genoro's fate next week. Let me report I'm hanging out with gentleman Emeka Madunagu. I greet you, sir, again. And Bola Olajuwon, I greet you too.
Thank you very much.
So the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then, let's go. You know, all 36 states and the FCT are to share a largesse of 18.2 billion naira each in order that they meet financial obligations and previous budget support facility due for repayment. The president's approval for the facility was made public during the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, and the funds would be disbursed in 6 tranches over a period of 6 months. There is, of course, a 30-year tenor and a 2-year moratorium, and at least an interest rate of 9%. You know, the bridge financing deal has a familiar history, linking it to the bailouts. If you remember, all state governments received 3 times in the past. Financial discipline by state chief executives in these lean times can't be overstressed. Emeka.
Yeah, that's true. Even Lagos State Governor Babachide Sanwo-Olu said so at an event yesterday on fiscal management. He was advising governors to cut excess, to cut waste, and to try to ensure value for funds, public funds, which is a major problem in Nigeria. You'll find out that at the states, you know, spending is done recklessly. The houses of assembly are just there in name. The members of the houses of assembly are just there to collect salaries and allowances, hardly checking the governors. And so, you see, the governors initiate new projects. You go to all the states, you see governors bringing in new projects, whereas there are projects inherited from previous administrations which will have a direct bearing on the lives of the people. But you see, one, there is no planning before a governor comes into power. So the governor just tells the people, so candidates just tell the people who will provide you with roads, will give you hospitals, will do this and that. The same thing that even my grandparents
it is not part of their job.
Yeah, but there is no planning. There is no backup with data to say, okay, if we put a hospital here, it's going to touch so and so and so number of people. And drilling down to this very issue, it appears strange to me, even though the Minister of Finance has said it's part of the reform programs, you know, the fiscal reform programs of the Buhari administration. But I find it difficult to understand why the states have been, you know, the loans owed by states are being refinanced. You know, these are loans owed to banks, are being refinanced. I mean, there are existing loans, foreign loans, local loans, loans owed to old contractors, debts owed contractors, owed banks, you know, and you're still giving them more loans with 30-year, you know, with a 30-year moratorium. And at 9%, the economy is not stable. The exchange rate is not stable. We are grappling with hyperinflation. And at the same time, we're expanding our debt burden without necessarily enlarging the revenue base.
Yeah.
Without a deliberate attempt from the presidency down to the governors, to the local government chairman, without a deliberate attempt to cut waste, to cut costs. There's no deliberate attempt. And so, when you keep refinancing excess, when you keep refinancing recklessness in public expenditure, what do? You continue to make life miserable for the ordinary people.
Emeka, before we came on, we talked about us deserving the kind of government we have. We produce.
Yeah, we elect these leaders.
So we deserve it. Maybe that's for another day. Bola, but my concern is not necessarily about the bailout, these funds, 18.2 billion going to each state. But I am more worried about internally generated revenue, because it's like a no-go area for us. Are we factoring that into it?
We are not factoring that into it. You see, even before we start looking at that, we should ask ourselves, do they really need the money? Do they really need that money?
Refinancing loans.
Yes, wait, do they really need to refinance the loan? Because the loans the bailout that the federal government gave to them, or I should say, the Muhammadu Buhari administration gave out to them, they were not used according to the outline for giving out the loan in the first instance. Okay, I remember all of us were in this country when they gave out the money that, okay, fine. You see, the money should be used, part of it should be used to pay off the salaries being owed workers.
And pensioners.
And pensioners. Please, I can tell you categorically that many states are still owing. What are we doing? Now, don't forget, okay, a controversy is still ongoing in respect of a state, Kogi, about the 20 billion that they said they found in the bank account of in a bank, okay?
Belonging to
Kogi State.
Okay.
Emeka, are we on the same page on that issue?
Yes.
It's still ongoing. The state said, oh, it didn't know anything. The state government said it didn't know anything about it. The state assembly...
What's the name of the film?
Let's go on. The state government now said, oh, the state assembly now invited the managing director of that bank. But that one refused to go. But see, the issue is this. As you rightly said, there's no way.
We deserve what's happening to us and with us.
You see, Susie Jones, we will continue to live in this type of predicament that we found ourselves. When people will sit down expecting, a droplets to come to them into their cups from the federal government. Whereas they can look outside the box. They can, by not necessarily...
I just talked about internally generated revenue.
Yes, they can.
Nobody goes there. Nobody talks about it.
See, nobody is saying that. Not only that, see, you will see some big men in many states now exploring all these mineral resources like gold. And this thing is not going into the purse.
Are they exploring?
Yes.
Are they exploring the mineral resources officially?
It's not officially.
So how do you expect the money to go into official
the issue is this:
accounts?
if these mineral resources should belong to the state government, at least the people should benefit from it.
But then change the law. Change the law.
See, let me tell you. Look, I'm sorry to say, somebody said it here. He said, look, I'm sorry, I'm a Muslim. Well, I also know that you're a very good Christian. I know that you're a Christian too. You see...
but you didn't say you were a good Muslim.
Well, I'm a good Muslim. See, I'm sorry. If Jesus should come to this country and rule this country called Nigeria, you see, we will still find ourselves in this predicament. It's not about the law, it's the people.
Yeah, Bola, and let me tell you, there's an 11th commandment Blessed are those who expect nothing, because they shall not be disappointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the issue is this: we are still expecting. Do you want us not to expect?
Oh, come on.
The state government are still expecting, the federal government to do miracle, if possible, to take over the payment of the salary of their workers.
Of course.
They will ask for it.
But Emeka, do remember or recall also that the Paris refund regime became a litigious.
It's still the matter is still on ground.
It's still there.
The matter there's also still the matter of VAT before the Supreme Court, for which the federal government is seeking a political solution. And then there are other issues being negotiated secretly, and you just wonder that whether our leaders just sit down every day to talk about sharing of money, nothing about value, giving value for public
and then by the same token, you hear economists and people who should know, you hear them tell you and I that the country is poor. We are not a poor country.
No, we are not.
Nobody should say that.
When they say we are poor, you have to look at the indices for poverty. You have to look at the facilities, the resources. To how many people these resources are readily available. The resources, when the resources are being cornered by a select few, of course, you don't expect the general, the majority to be said to be rich. So it is a poor mindset. Do
you recall in the Babangida years,
yes,
once he talked about how surprised he was that our economy had taken so much beating and slaps, but it has not crumbled.
I never took Babangida seriously. He was just, he liked to engage in sophistry. He just liked to dribble Nigerians, give Nigerians what to say. Whenever he had something funny up his sleeves, he would throw out something, give Nigerians something to keep talking about.
And you people would
then, do some of those engage in some of those shenanigans. So I mean, looking back, of course, we allowed ourselves to be led by the nose by somebody who was not serious with power.
Emeka and Bola, we deserve what's happening with us and to us.
Well, I wouldn't agree that we deserve. Unfortunately, what power do the people have in terms of actually determining the leadership, in actually determining the outcome of elections? Look at the recent Anambra election, for example. Due to threats here and there, hiccups here and there, a lot of people didn't come out. The election recorded less than 15%. How can you expect just less than 15% of the people to take decisions for over 2.5 million voters?
Your state now has a governor-elect. So
yes, but what I'm saying,
go to court about that.
When you say we deserve, that's what I'm trying to interrogate that term.
Put it in context.
That's we deserve, because when you say we deserve, have we dealt with the real choices of the Nigerian people? Do they even have a choice?
Emeka, and I put it to you that giving states another bailout of 18.2 billion naira.
Yes.
A billion is a million in 1,000 places.
Yes.
Is it something you deserve?
Well, the point is this.
Do we deserve it?
No, we deserve it. If the Houses of Assembly will debate this money, they will not debate it, because this is appropriation. It's actually supposed to go through
what is coming to us. Anyway,
well, we don't really deserve it. I mean, we have to look at the power of the people.
Emeka, don't let us make this an intellectual discourse. Let's say it as it is. We report what is before us. We have a caller has joined us. Olanrewaju is reaching us from Ilorin. Ilorin is in Kwara. Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Olanrewaju from Ilorin, Kwara State. Yes, welcome. I want to lend my voice on the conversation regarding the financial stimulus that the federal government has packaged again for the state government for refinance or as a bailout. This is not the first time And I need to commend the federal government on that issue because it's able to study the happenings in federal states. There is financial tension, inflation here and there, and it come up with that at least to cushion the tension in the federal states. But unfortunately, most of these state governors, just like the guest said it there, how many of them in the first instance requested for this? How many of them actually have a plan on how to spend this money? And that is why I made the advice in my own state that they need to use this money either to pay part of the commercial loan already accrued by the previous administration so that the moratorium 2 years given to them, it will not serve or starting payment on this first tenor. At the same time, most of the interest of this commercial bank, is too high. But giving them 9%, at least it will reduce the tension. That is one. Two, let them look into the situation of the local government and super teachers in the state. Some of them are on 4 months outstanding salary. If we can use at least out of this money to settle 2 months out of it, it will reduce the tension in the state. So these are the basic in which the federal government think of coming up with this package for the state government. Unfortunately, most of them will divert that money as they have demonstrated before.
Olanrewaju, thank you, but you can go, if you feel aggrieved, you can go to court.
He mentioned something.
Yeah.
Not all the states collected bailout from 2015. How come this money is being given to all states? That left me, thinking that what's really going on? If you didn't collect, if you've not been collecting bailout, and we know it's not all the states that collected bailout. If you've not been collecting bailout, why are you now collecting money to refinance loans you didn't collect? I think the Nigerian Governors Forum should come out to tell us what is really going on.
And we know that giving them this money over a 6-month period, So, 30-year payout, payback.
Yes.
And a moratorium of how many? 2 years?
2 years.
At 9%.
That would be about 32 years. Abi?
The last one given to them.
No.
The moratorium was deferred. Fayemi, the governor of Ekiti, asked for deferment of the moratorium, which led to a crisis between the states and the central bank. And now a new moratorium is being given to them.
Then, for 2 years, they will not pay anything.
And so the governors are leaving.
And then the money will be paid. That means my children and my grandchildren will be paid
Bola,
for this
that thing
money.
Is every country.
It's every country.
Every
but
country.
The country, don't let us be talking like this. See, but those countries that collected the money, who are owing, America is the biggest debtor. But are the people not seeing the money?
Of course.
They knew what they are using the money for.
Yes.
They go to other Western countries. They knew what they are using the money for.
So,
do we know
which is your state?
I'm from Ogun State.
Okay.
I'm from Ogun. See, let me tell you one thing. I want to say it on this program. After 4 years, any governor that is leaving office and still having salary to pay, having pensioner to pay, those governors are evil.
But you have not gone to court.
But some of these governors are leaving.
No,
within that 2 years moratorium,
inside 2 years,
up to about 5 governors. What are we even talking about? It's less than 2023. It's just about 16 months or so. So almost all the governors are leaving. How many of them are going? Are going to run?
Sorry, Emeka and Bola, we have company again. Ahmed is reaching us from Kano. So we say good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good evening.
Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Ahmed. I'm calling from Kano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ahmed, your state is going to receive this money.
Yes, my state is going to receive this money, but I'm going to tell you that the governors are not going to use this money for anything good. In fact, they are going to use this money for the
elections.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you that the state governors, especially...
No. Did I get that?
I think it's gone up. I think I was trying to say the governors will use the money for the 2020
something
elections.
else.
For something else. This is just like...
But are you saying Mr. President would intentionally give this money out at this time? when he knows
no,
an election
he's not even
is in the
seeking
other thing.
re-election. But the point is the governors have put so much pressure on him. The governors have become so powerful that they exert so much pressure on everybody. Look at the issue of the Pies Club reforms.
Emeka, I'd love for you to go there. This is why I broached the subject of internally generated revenue, which is on the cards.
No, you see, even it's not as if, for many states have generally improved in their internally generated revenue. Many states have. But the point is, where is the money going to?
That is the question.
Where is the money going to? These states are also getting loans. And don't forget, there is movement, migration of capital. Look at like Ogun State. The number of industries that, keep pointing to Ogun State, people moving from different parts of the country, moving to Ogun State. And then, how accountable is the state to the people? To the people, yeah. Go around the state. Look at the road. Look at the infrastructure. It's not what you will expect in a rapidly industrializing state.
We have a serious housing deficit across the country.
Yeah, of course. That's even another big shame. I mean, we have a big housing deficit, and government is talking of selling houses at an affordable rate of 7 million naira. I mean,
that is the least. That is the least.
I mean,
we are talking of 13. We are talking of 12 million. 2-bedroom flat.
How affordable is that? So the point is this. I believe that instead of giving that money, refinancing these loans, the president should, I think, the government should find a way. Let this money get to Nigerians. Trader money and all of those things, fine. But what was the impact? What was the impact of all this, these interventionist programs? We need to go beyond using interventionist programs to reach the ordinary Nigerians. There should be, government is talking of another one, that when the fuel is increased, they will pay Nigerians transport allowance. All of these interventionist programs are not sustainable. There must be sustainable economic programs that can keep money in circulation, provide the means for jobs to be created.
Emeka, one thing that comes to mind here is making this country productive one more time. What do I mean? Give electricity and more electricity so Nigerians will go to work.
But we are still flaring gas in a country where we are condemned by electricity, and we're flaring gas.
I never knew that we had I've said this more than once here. I never knew we had more than 400 textile factories in this country.
Of course,
across this country.
More than, yes.
And imagine a textile factory like the one in Lagos here, employing 5,000.
5,000, yes, one.
Times 400.
One at Isolo was employing 5,000.
So times 400, so many people will be out of joblessness.
Yes, but that one in Lagos is Isolo there. In Aswaniri area.
Just one,
Yeah.
There are many of them.
What is the capacity utilization? What's the capacity utilization?
All right, I hear that Wale is waiting in Abuja to speak with us. Wale, good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Which is your state, Wale?
I'm from Osun, but I'm speaking to you right now from Abuja.
Okay. Osun will get 18.2 billion, and that's official.
The man is even laughing.
That is the rubbish. That is the rubbish step taken by the federal government. The APC government, they are just strangulating the people of this country.
Now, you've left, you are talking about APC. We are talking about a loan, a bailout to states.
APC, PDP, ABGA.
What I'm saying, the moderator or the moderators of this program, it's APC. Are we not using the APC government?
No. You don't have to go that way.
I see.
All right. Wale, I cannot, I'm fighting to make sense of what you said, No.
I think he was trying to build a funny context around APC. But you have governors from APC, from PDP, from ABGA, and all of them requested for this refinancing for loans that some of them didn't collect.
And so it is not APC or PDP thing.
No, it's not. It's beyond the political parties.
That is the one thing I support you as assertion that, okay, the kind of government, we deserve the kind of government.
Oh, you deserve it.
Yes. Because,
you deserve it.
Let's talk. Okay, let's say it here. How many unions and workers of those states are shouting? How many pensioners are shouting that, look, the governors are not paying us? What is that?
Bola, before pensioners in my Akwa Ibom begin to raise their voices.
No.